Hey everybody, welcome back to Chicago Reacts. My name is Michael. I'm an actor here in the city of Chicago, and I am joined by the ever brilliant, the always talented, the one, the only.
It's Zach, also an actor here in Chicago, soon to be worldwide. Stay tuned for that. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are actually watching a classic Starship Troopers.
Yes. This is a good cult classic sci-fi movie that I've heard about and has lived in the zeitgeist for a very long time, but I'm excited to actually see. Like, I think I've seen clips and stuff, but I've never seen it in its entirety.
Yeah, this is one of those movies where I think I caught bits and pieces of it on cable and stuff like that throughout the years. But like never anything where I sat and watched any reasonable part of the movie from start to finish. So let alone the entire thing. So this should be fun. I think it's supposed to be a fun adventure ride with some solid pieces of humor in there. And
I'm excited to see how good. And my understanding was, like, when they were working on this, it wasn't like intentionally comedic and ridiculous.
Yeah, I think
then it has fallen into that category.
Where at times it almost takes itself so seriously that it becomes funny. And I know, like, a lot of the creatures almost remind me of like the Tyranids from Warhammer 40K, which is stuff that we've been watching and reacting to as well. So if you like watching our reaction, feel free to like the video, and if you love it, feel free to subscribe if you haven't already done so. Down in the description box too, you can check out our Patreon, where we have access to the entire movie uncut with our unfiltered and just full-blown reactions.
So go check us out. Go support us there. Yeah. And with that, let's dive into it, shall we?
All right.
I love the text, though. The text is very like 90s.
Yeah.
Is this 90s?
It's an ugly planet, a bug planet, a planet hostile to life.
These bugs are not as sensitive to like journalistic integrity. You know, they don't have the vests on. They can't understand. Oh, it's a journalist. We're not supposed to attack them.
Especially when they said journalists show up with a lot of people and guns.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't help. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love how they just stay and fight it. Like, they just saw what that bug did to that man.
Oh man.
1 year
earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that Neil Patrick Harris?
That is Neil Patrick Harris. Oh my goodness.
And then that guy is like stereotypical bad guy in like every Arnold Schwarzenegger movie ever.
And force, my friends, is violence, the supreme authority from which all other authority is derived.
There's a lot of attractive looking people in this classroom.
Naked force has resolved more issues throughout history than any other factor.
23,
42,
30.
35%. Very nice. Look at that.
Okay, wait a minute. What? Do they post? Did anyone go to college where they posted grades on a board and you had to look it up? Is that a thing?
It reproduces in vast numbers.
Ew.
Has no ego.
Nice.
Has no fear.
What are you doing? Why are you just taking that stuff out?
So is the
Nice.
nerves of steel, huh?
Oh yeah, probably want to sanitize that door handle.
Yeah. I didn't realize this was a high school. I don't know why. I guess I just read it. Yeah, troopers in space. And now I'm like, oh,
because you're going to Harvard, and that's the end of it.
There it is.
It's my decision.
Fresh meat for the grinder, eh? Next time we meet, I'll probably have to salute you. Mobile infantry made me the man I am today.
Little on the nose, huh? All these extras again, man. They also these sets
that's
are
why I knew
great.
that. Well, even with all the soldiers in the very first shot, I'm like, oh, they definitely had some.
All the uniforms too. The
like
costume
they did
budget.
not think this was going to be a flop. You can tell by just the production value.
Yeah, I wonder how this film actually did in the box office.
Who wants to hold it?
Citizen rule. People making a better tomorrow.
Oh, what? It is really, really interesting when you think of like the messages and the ideology that they're trying to show through these little news segments that sort of act as almost like to suggest that like it's a great way to like show passing of time and stuff like that. And
it's world building in a really interesting way. I mean, I don't think it's new that it's been done this way before, but it's very on the nose, but I like don't think it's bad. I gotta be honest. I'm enjoying this movie a lot.
Yeah.
Like I think it's really good and it's like genuine, even though it comes off as cheesy. Like I don't hate it. I get why people like have fallen in love with this movie.
And I love also, do you see how this is censored? But when he was chopping up the humans, it wasn't.
Run, I said, run! Brunsky, keep pace. Move! You think I'm being too tough.
No.
All right, son.
Oh, yo, dude, this is so good. Like, I think part of it is just like there's like these transitions that like don't really track. So it's like, I don't know, because I'm trying to like that was funny. And I don't think it was intended to be funny.
Right.
Like, I think it was intended to be like, you should be worried or like kind of set this like intense tone.
Yeah.
But it really is just coming off as funny.
Get in line like everyone else.
Isn't it funny too how like the high school tropes carry over to the fucking army, dude?
Yeah,
like,
it is. Yeah.
Ow.
The enemy cannot push a button if you disable his hand.
I want to have babies. You know, it's a lot easier to get a license if you serve, so.
Did you hear that piece of information too? That you need a
You
license to have babies.
Oh, wow.
But it did that in such a subtle way. Like it wasn't very direct.
Yeah, it is crazy. I mean, the complexity of the world that they live in is like actually quite fascinating.
Yeah. There's some really, really good,
but it's
world building.
Yeah, I mean, all of it happening in this scene is all world building.
Right.
But it's like
even on like on a group level, like you're understanding like why people would make this stupid decision to join the infantry and deal with bullshit like getting a knife thrown at your hand. And like it's actually really good script writing.
Pilot trainee Abanez reporting for duty, ma'am.
Football star.
Oh my God, who is that, dude?
I know, she looks familiar too.
Clear. I want to command a ship of my own, and you know, I don't think that's gonna leave a lot of room for you and me, Johnny.
Johnny, she couldn't even say she loved you. Okay?
I joined up for her. I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for her.
What are you talking about? You made squad leader on your own.
You really managed to like these guys.
Yeah. Like they are written really endearingly. Like, yeah, some of it is cheesy and some of it's corny and maybe like stereotypical, but like I'm still kind of like I get why everyone went on to continue after careers because I honestly think the performances are pretty good.
Yeah,
and like,
yep. Live ammunition?
Yeah. Shoot.
They must be kids are big and dumb.
Why did you order your man to remove his helmet during a live fire exercise? Sir, I needed everyone in my squad operational, sir.
This goes back to what his dad was saying, remember?
Public lashing. How is this administrative punishment?
They are being a little bit overly sympathetic towards him, aren't they? for essentially losing a guy's head. It's kind of surprising to me. Like
I mean, it was an accident.
Gnarly. Right.
Where your position and how you get treated based on your value,
right,
to the machine.
It's not really working out here for me, Dad. I was hoping it would be all right if I came home.
Of course, you should come home immediately.
I'm sorry. I've been an idiot.
Now, don't talk like that. You just come on home. Talk things out. We love you, son.
Oh my, what's that?
It's like rain.
This time of year?
Sure is dark.
Good parenting right there. Right.
The asteroid.
Buenos Aires has been wiped off the earth.
Oh my God.
Tom.
Go and voted unanimously for mobilization to destroy the arachnid threat.
Also, that one said 8 million dead before it said 12 million.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's tragic, but it's just like, Buenos Aires has been wiped. Like, so intense.
Is this your signature, Rico?
Sir, yes it is, sir.
Doesn't look like it to me.
Okay, Clancy Brown. I have a feeling he's going to end up going to war. And
Yeah. You think?
Yeah.
Only good bug is a dead bug.
Propaganda, dude. We're really going to start to see parallels to our own world. A lot of people talk about like the politics of this movie being very, very relevant to today. Sure, it's an exaggeration, but it does kind of make this very direct point.
I mean, I think it's when it's so blatantly about like an alien species, I think it's easier to be like, man, it's insane that we've said that about other human beings.
Right. But also the idea of like glorifying war and we're turning our enemy, whoever it is, into essentially what is a bug, an alien, and us versus them.
Yeah.
But even how the media glorifies war and immediately changes from devastation of losing hometown to now, all right, now we got to promote violence.
Everyone's doing their part. Are you?
Yep. Getting kids involved. Getting like this is
in your community.
Oh, the manic laughter. Yeah. Honestly, these little cuts
really
are kind of my favorite thing about this movie. Is
Would you
it's
like
just
to know
so
more?
Like, I wonder if there's got to be deep dives into like the structure of this. I don't know. Would you like to know more? I feel like I'm surprised it hasn't. It feels like a very meme culture thing.
Yeah.
And maybe it had its day.
I want it on a t-shirt. Like,
would you like to know more? Here's our
it.
journalist
And the
that's
talk
not
says
going to make
tomorrow.
You smash the entire area. You kill anything that has more than 2 legs. You get me? We get you, sir.
I also really like this idea that like we haven't really met the bugs yet. We met them in the initial news segment, but it's very much implied that the humans do have some experience with these creatures. Like they have the captured specimens at the lab.
Yeah,
they've established the quarantine zone, right? So it's like they know what they're getting into, but we really don't yet.
Oh, dang.
You better get going.
Someone made a big goddamn mistake.
Holy shit. Get out of here. They really think the human population's going to do anything to those things? Whoa.
Mini newts. Yeah, it is interesting just to like.
It's the fanboy.
I'm curious where it's going to go in regards to like. It seems like they have more intelligence than we anticipated.
Oh my God.
They're so big.
Ace, what are we doing?
I don't know.
Her face is so expressive. Oh my God.
It's a general retreat! Back to the boat!
Like, what was their plan here?
Well, they just underestimated them. They had no idea what they were actually capable of. I mean, with these plasma things they're shooting off into the air, that or someone knew and they lied because they knew it was going to be this bad.
Yeah.
So they were like, well, let's do what we can. And
I think there are sequels to this movie, so I'm sure it goes
Is there?
more. I think so. I think there's a Starship Troopers too. Here we are. Get out!
I do like how they still have like the oldest looking camera.
Yep.
Like the camera has not evolved at all.
No, but the idea of like what you would do to get the money shot, if you will, that's pretty funny too. That's pretty dead on.
Yeah.
So yeah, in a way, this movie is making fun of media, politics. It's I think it's really highlighting the straight up gruesome aspects of war. Here we go, another transition.
We've watched some videos about like World War I, World War II, and kind of what led to that. And like we watched that video about like the great peace that we've been in.
Yes.
It is interesting to our current climate is a little scary for obviously peace.
Yeah.
For the continuing peace among human society. But it is interesting to think like, would that be our next mass sort of war where we would see that number of lives lost is because we're fighting with like an alien civilization.
Sky Marshal Deans resigns. His successor, Sky Marshal Tahat Maru, outlines her new strategy.
But look at this. Like again, equality. Like now we are moving to a female, a minority that's taking over leadership. It really is pretty progressive for 97. And that is actually really, really cool to see. Like they were clearly very
thoughtful of like what is the future?
What does the future actually look like? And that's actually really cool. Oh, the stupid talk shows and stuff that people do in debating.
It gets smarter. Insects with intelligence? Have you ever met one? I can't believe I am hearing this nonsense.
just
This
wait
is the most
a
ridiculous
moment.
conversation I have ever had. Frankly, I find the idea of a bug that thinks offensive.
Everybody taking things personal.
Who's
There he is.
Hey, Johnny! Hey!
Pick him up.
They got him.
His thighs wide open.
They're good people, man.
Yeah.
They're like, those are real friends right there. Or is it going to be this teacher? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Everyone fights, no one quits. If you don't do your job, I'll shoot you.
Look at that. Oh my God. We're just naturally piling up the bodies.
Infinite ammunition is killing me. Oh, is that lava? Isn't that like the melty stuff?
Gross. Is he gonna drop a grenade in there?
Yeah. Ugh. I mean, I will say I'm impressed like how the different locations they're shooting at, the different CG elements that they've incorporated.
They're combining some practical effects as well. It's a really good like marriage that they've definitely impressive for 97. Like they clearly knew what they clearly had a mission of what they wanted out of these scenes, and they did.
Yeah,
for the time they did a great job with making it all very as lifelike as possible.
Yeah, and I mean, there's some stuff where it's like, oh, that looks a little weird, or that, yeah, but I'm really, it's just a fully realized film, and I guess I was just picturing something less like fully realized.
I need a corporal. You're it until you're dead, or till I find somebody better.
Thank you, sir.
Have fun! That's an order!
Of course, there's a violin for him. Oh my god.
It's so cheesy. And it's so funny. It's so good though. Like it's just like heartwarming, even though it's so put on and so cheesy. Like there's just something that's just kind of works, even though despite itself.
Moving out, there's been a distress call from General Owen on Planet B, so get your shit wired and report in 10 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Who's that with you?
Florence, sir.
Make it 20 minutes.
I don't know. I didn't hate how that scene operated.
Again, it's just this movie it really is just an endearing piece of art.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, really from the beginning, we've been rooting for him like right away. I feel like you're like, oh, they've got chemistry, like they're sweet, and
she's gonna die now, though. That's what this means.
Shoot, you might be right there.
What's that look like to you, Rico?
Looks like a bug was in his brain, sir.
They sucked his brains out.
Like that moment right there was 100% intended, and Ironside delivered it fine, but like it
just comes off as like
they sucked his brains.
I don't know what it is, but it is funny.
Do you think that's how they're gathering intelligence?
Yeah, I wonder if that's why they call, like, if he made them call them for the distress signal.
Right.
Come on, you ape! You want to live forever?
Come on, you apes. That's reducing humans to apes. Common thing. Oh my god.
Oh man.
This ain't good. Helm's Deep. This is where Peter Jackson got his Helm's Deep idea, dude.
It's still like cool action scenes.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I mean, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I think
it literally is like Helm's Deep.
Oh yeah, they're getting swarmed.
Look at
that. That looks so good.
A march of 10,000.
I mean, that's really interesting, you know.
Oh, yo. Oh. Move out of the way, dude. They need air support or something.
How is that more defensible than being on top and being able to shoot down?
I guess you're just creating more space now again between them and them, so they have to readjust as they get on top. I
guess they're blind as they come over the top, and then your team is bunched up tighter, so maybe that's better. But again, it's a good thing they have unlimited ammo. They don't have unlimited ammo.
Diz finally ran out of ammunition.
But Diz is not even the one who's been out there shooting. Diz is setting up comms, and now we have the one reload of the entire movie. Oh, his legs are going to be gone.
There were literally thousands of bugs encompassing the compound. This is not good.
See, there they are. They were coming.
Oh.
It's all right. Because I got to have you.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
It had to happen.
It had to happen. I don't know. I'm like, it's not okay.
It's not okay. We're not okay.
Line of like, I'm a little disappointed in her life. It's okay because I got to have you. I'm like, oh, you're so much cooler than he is. Like, you didn't need him. You're a badass, but man, yeah, there is something about like that scene that's like, it doesn't have that bite. It doesn't have that bite? Like
that bug bite.
Oh, it's just like, and maybe it's just that it just falls into sort of melodrama because yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm still enjoying it, but it is something of like, I don't know if it didn't feel earned or feels a little prescribed.
No, that's fair. That's a very fair statement.
You know, I mean, I'm still loving it.
Somebody asked me if I knew the difference between a citizen and a civilian. I can tell you now. A citizen has the courage to make the safety of the human race their personal responsibility.
That is.
How are you, Carl?
Carmen, good. Johnny, I'm sorry it had to be your unit on P.
Are they still gonna be friends after all these? That promise made so many years ago. Is it gonna last? Do the bonds of friendship remain after we fight alien bugs?
That mission had a very low survival probability.
The bugs laid a trap for us, didn't they?
Elegant proof of intelligence, isn't it? We thought there might be a brain bug on P.
You knew and you sent them anyway?
Every day, I have to make decisions that send hundreds of people like you to their deaths.
Didn't they tell you, Colonel? That's what the mobile infantry's good for.
In one mission, he went from
from
corporal
private
to lieutenant.
He went from what? Private to corporal to active sergeant to lieutenant. Wow, what a mission.
This is for all you new people. I only have one rule. Everyone fights. No one quits. If you don't do your job, I'll kill you myself. Do you get me? We got you, sir!
Plagiarism.
Welcome to the Roughnecks.
Oh, that's not a win. No.
Bravo 6-3 to abort. Is anyone receiving?
Affirmative. This is Roughneck 2-0.
You're breaking up. Say again.
Carmen?
Say again. I'm losing you.
Carmen!
Yeah, you dead.
They're gonna find
dead.
They're gonna find the brain.
Absolutely dead.
They're gonna find the brain.
Making that kind of contact, dude, dead.
Yeah.
Like, let alone being able to get up and walk.
Gonna go right into his head.
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, it looks really cool.
Yeah.
But it's so like how would that do anything other than suck up brain matter?
Right.
You trying to be a hero, Walken? Trying to kill some bugs, sir? Get out of here!
There's no way. There's literally no way that they make it out of that. Do you remember on those previous planets where it literally like
they shut it
took
down
out
the tunnel
and it literally wiped out an entire nest? So no way.
Maybe this one's a little one.
A little nuke?
Just a little nuke. Yeah, it is like now we're in like full like army movie.
Yeah.
Like we've gone from
like saving the damsel in distress to
like
high school
high school flick to, or like teen flick to sci-fi to just army movie. And I'm like, there's so many Genres.
It's gonna end with the reuniting of Rico, Carmen, and Carl.
He can talk with creatures.
He can.
It's afraid.
It's afraid!
It's afraid. That's worthy of celebrating.
Yeah.
Whenever the three of us are together, I feel like things might just work out.
I hope you're right, Carmen. We've got one of their brains now. Pretty soon we'll know how they think. And then we'll know how to beat them.
Carry on, Private.
Yes, sir.
He deranked so he could go into.
Its secrets.
Ah,
We understand.
that's really interesting because the last time they showed that sensor was when the bug devoured the cow,
Right.
and now it's us.
Devouring our cattle.
Do like, yeah.
We need soldiers. Soldiers like Lieutenant Stack Lumbreezer
We're in the target area now, Captain.
and Captain Carmen Ibanez.
This is the captain speaking. All personnel prepare for drop.
Soldiers like Private Ace Levy and Lieutenant John Rico.
Come on, you ape! You wanna live forever!
We need you all. Service guarantees citizenship.
Okay.
Paul Verhoeven.
Verhoeven.
That was so. I had so much fun watching that movie.
I had a feeling it was going to be fun.
It was
I had
really a
feeling
blast.
That, and I feel like reading the comment section that you guys leave and stuff like that is going to be really cool to see too, because this movie kind of came out during that time where the 90s were evolving into the new millennium, and there were so many, like, we talked about the Great Peace and stuff like that. And this was before Iraq and all that stuff. So there was, to a certain extent, kind of a peace going on.
Well, the second part of Iraq.
Right. But the
I
feel like the overall message of this movie, some things are more hidden and some things you kind of have to dig for, but other things are like so surface level where it's clearly like making fun of X, Y, or Z, in particular the military and political propaganda.
Well, and like, what is the cost versus, what is like, what are we in? Yeah, what is the cost and the benefits, and what are we actually doing? Like, what are the actual consequences? It reminds me of Ender's Game and that series with, like, again, it's sort of this like insectoid like alien species that feels so different to us as fleshy beings. But there's a certain point when it's like, but at what point are they sentient? At what point are we just when do we become the villain? Where we're just destroying their entire species. It's like they destroyed one of our cities on our planet, and we started attacking them across every planet that they are on.
Right. And at the end, it's like when you get that mind reading scene, it's like it's afraid, and everybody celebrates. You almost like expect it at that point to be a little bit more fulfilling than that. But that's the whole point of the movie. It's not. It is about the dehumanization, and it is about the propaganda of fighting the fight and winning little battles to win the war, no matter what the cost is. I mean, millions and millions of people died, and in the battle, and Rico literally lost everybody outside of the three friends at the beginning, right? The two, it is like, despite all of that, it's about making the enemy afraid, and that's what's worthwhile of celebrating at the end. Like, that's just kind of it really fills well with the message of the film, and again, being this like piece of propaganda, almost showing like. Several times humans were referred to as apes, primarily by like the military commands.
And
at the end, that was very ape-like. Like, it's very simplistic. We go and we just destroy everything, and then we capture the brain, and the brain's afraid, and we celebrate, and we're
it's afraid.
full of testosterone. Like, that's very like ape-like. That's very
I honestly makes me like the philosophical thing that this movie addresses does make me interested to see the rest of the series. And I honestly think it's pretty bad. I mean, I maybe we'd watch one of them. And then go,
I think two's not. I think two's not supposed to be horrible yet, but I'm pretty sure that the remaining ones were terrible.
Yeah.
I think the last two might have even went straight to DVD.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm curious to see like. Again, it was such a mashup of genres. You know, we've got sort of like the teen flick at the beginning with the football game and all this stuff. Then they go to war, but then like the Academy felt sort of like this blend of like sci-fi, and I mean the whole thing has like a sci-fi blend to it. But at some point it just becomes like war movie / sci-fi. But
But
it was
also
just like
action.
Action and so much of it was like cheesy or sort of on the nose or prescribed but it also was like had heart and was like charming.
I would love to sit down and maybe, there might be interviews on this or something like that, but like hear some thoughts from Paul Verhoeven or maybe the writer and hear what the original intention with the art piece was.
I'm curious how the actors feel about it because like as an actor I'd be like, hey, they all went on to do other things and were pretty successful for the most part. And then I mean it just seemed like, I mean, going into this, especially knowing that they did multiple other films, like I'm curious were they like their mindset before, was it like, oh, this is going to be huge, this is going to be like Star Wars, this is going to be like a giant,
or even reading the script,
series film,
even reading the script, Mike, like on paper this had to be a very like intense action movie. Like it definitely, looking at this,
I mean, I think
page,
if I had read that script I would have been really excited. I've been like, okay, this is kind of bringing these elements in. Like I can see how this movie got made, and I feel like honestly it's one of those things where it's like if it only didn't perform super well just because of how it was initially received, but I thought it was really fun. Like I'm so glad that we watched it.
Me too.
I'd love to know in the comment section down below just any like fun stories that you know about this, or like behind the scenes sneak peeks. I'm really curious to know more about it. And I feel like that's part of what makes like cult classics fun, is like the story behind the movie. And again, they always have to have some sort of a heart, even if everything else is wacky or weird or maybe doesn't make sense. And I can see that in moments in the transitions and like the shifts from one emotional scene to the next, but there's heart and it's fun. And I think it's really I think it's really good. I did want to make a note because when it did seem like they were trying to project like a very progressive, inclusive future,
right?
Though they did cast all white people for their leads, so they weren't that progressive.
Yes,
but
right.
The world that they showed was more progressive than the casting that they chose, but it was still fun. Like I think the performances were quite good, and
I do. I want to make that note too. Yeah, the performances are definitely what made it fun, and by the end of it, why you're rooting for the people definitely was embodied within the heart of the person bringing that character to life. That had a huge part of it. Like I loved Jake Busey as Ace, his buddy.
He
He was awesome. I hate the fact that so much of Diz's motivations and intentions were just solely based on Johnny Rico. I didn't.
Yeah,
that was a bit off,
and especially because she was so cool. Like,
yeah,
to me, I'm like, you should be sergeant. You're the one who's like, you were like captain of your team. You were calling all the plays, like
strategy. But at the end of the day, even in her death, like she made it all about Rico. And that's one area where it was very very non-progressive, I think, was in Diz's character for being so freaking awesome. It's like her whole purpose was essentially, her whole motivation was around the lead man and getting the affection of him.
Yeah.
But yeah, really looking forward to reading the comment section and hopefully you guys, especially for y'all on Patreon that sat through the whole thing with us, do leave us comments, because we spend our time going through those and like revisiting these discussions down the road is going to be so freaking cool.
Yeah.
Especially as the channel grows and all that stuff. So really appreciate you taking the time to watch this with us. Again, like the video if you liked it. If you loved it, feel free to subscribe if you haven't already done so. And a special thank you to the patrons. You guys really help drive this right now, and we love being able to share every moment of this with you guys.
Yeah. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for those of you who are checking us out on YouTube, and consider checking out our Patreon.
And would you like to know more? And if you would, click that Patreon.
And we will see you next time on Chicago Reacts
Movies and TV.